Crowd. This is Ron Lachine. That was.
The 26-year-old Honda rider from Berkshire is the 1989 World 500cc Motocross champion.
Rick Johnson took the checkered flag and the 500cc crown. A few minutes later, he had this to say.
Thank God it's over.
Welcome, Motocross History Team. Today, or actually last Saturday, was the birthday of 1994 125 world champion Bob Moore. Bob Moore, most of you guys will remember that he was part of that U.S. invasion that started to really come to light in the early 90s. And he was not just a 125 world champion, but he was also a great 250 rider in the 250 MXGPs. But he's got a really interesting story when he obviously started out in the States in the mid-'80s. And he loved racing motocross, but he was so short. It actually became a medical situation with he and his parents. They would go to the doctor because he was like 17, 18 years old, and he was still only like 4'11". And he actually took medication to try and get his body to react in a way that it would grow. And I think it worked. He only ended up being like 5'4" or 5'3". But for him, that was more than enough for him to really carry out the passion of him racing motocross. So in this particular clip, I wanted to do a reaction of what you guys think of Bob Moore's journey. And he talks a lot about, he was not getting the financial backing that he needed in the States, and just by pure luck, he was invited to a fast cross event, if you remember. They used to do that in the late 80s, early 90s, and he never had ridden a 250 before, and he asked and begged them if he could ride a 125 in the 250 class, and they actually let him. And on a 125, Bob Moore smokes everybody except for like two dudes and ends up getting on the podium on a 125. Well, the right people were watching this fast cross event that day, and he was offered a ride right there to race for a new team that was getting started. There was a guy that was in a MotoGP. He was an owner of a MotoGP team, and he wanted to start a motocross team. And so at the time, Bob Moore was in this really bad contract with Suzuki, he was practically riding for free in the States, and they kind of screwed him over. And so they're like, hey, we're going to have you ride Suzuki's if you come over to this team. And they swallowed up his contract that he had in the States. And they were like, yeah. And they gave him a $30,000 signing bonus, which at that time and at his age, he's like, yes, that's perfect. So let me know what you guys think. And let me know how you guys feel about Bob Moore's story. And the reason why, like I said, the reason why I'm doing this is because just last Saturday, he had his birthday. And so it's going to be, it's an awesome story, and I hope one that is definitely not shown enough, and he's definitely one of the most underrated riders of the 90s. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks.
And so I was just kind of down, and it was weird. I got this call. One of the riders, and I think it was Willie Surratt, he was supposed to go do a race in Italy. And he got injured, and so the next guy they called was me, and it was a 250, like it was the Sapori Italia race, the fast cross, yeah. And so I'm like, well, okay, I'll go, yeah, sure, give me a plane ticket and hand me over, I'll just be something to do. So I get there, and they roll out a 250, and mind you, I've never in my life rode a 250. Let alone try to start one. I just rode 125s. And I'm like, guys, I can't ride a two. I've never won. He was like, what do you mean you're a pro? And I'm like, I know, but look at me. I'm not a 250 rider. So they found this used 125, and they allowed me to race a 125 in the 250 class.
Okay.
And I think I got like third or fourth or whatever. I did really good, especially because I was on a 125, and the people over there freaked out. They're like, this little teeny kid on a 125 is racing with all these big bikes. So I became this like mini celebrity.
Okay.
long story short, I did all these interviews, and I just said, look, my dream is one day to race world championship. I've always just wanted to become a world champion. That was kind of what I've always wanted to do. And lo and behold, this guy that was he had a road race team, but he wanted to start a motocross team. His name was Roberto Galina. And he basically gave me a call while I was over in California. He said, hey, Bob, I currently I have the factory Suzuki road racing team that does the MotoGP stuff over here, which it wasn't MotoGP, it was 500 Grand Prix racing at the time. He's like, I have this team, but I want to do a motocross team, and I want you to race for me in the 125 class. And we're going to get factory bikes straight from Japan and everything else. I'm like, right on, okay. He's like, oh, and we're going to give you like 30 grand. I'm like, whoa, give me the paper, I'll sign. And that was it. Literally within like a day, I went from not having anything to like basically call Pat up and say, adios, I'm not going to do this, to getting a ride. And so I wasn't technically even out of my contract. I went back to Suzuki, and I told him what had happened. I said, I'm going to be racing world championship for Suzuki. Can you let me out of the contract? And like, you know what, Bob, we'll do one even better. We're going to give you the bikes. We're going to pay you bonus money, the same for racing Grand Prix than you would over here. And I'm like, awesome. So that was kind of my...
Okay, they made up for it a little bit.
I made up for it. So yeah, so that was it. I started, then I got on a plane.
Okay, so I always wondered how that happened. How did you get so infatuated with Grand Prix? I mean, back then it was hard you couldn't watch them on TV.
It was the newspapers.
Just cycle news?
Just the cycle news and the motocross actions and I don't know. I think it was just the picturesque, view of a track on the side of a hill, a grassy hill with the banners around and just full of people and just a big launching jump and go across I just looked at that as like, that is motocross to me, right? Because I idolized all the guys in the 70s, right? And the guys that were doing that was at the gnarly, before the Americans kind of took over.
Yeah.
It was Europe. I mean, the guys, Eric Abors, Malherbe, George Dobey.
Those were your guys.
Those are the guys, Roger DeCoster. I mean, that was the guy. Yeah. And at that time, you looked at that as like, that was the pinnacle, right? Those guys were rolling in the cash, massive money, 100,000 spectators at almost every race they went to. I mean, that was motocross, right? Yeah. So that in the 70s, I think growing up, that was kind of just what I was, drawn to. Not that the supercross wasn't cool and the motocross over here wasn't good. I loved it. I mean, I loved riding a motorcycle. So, but yeah, it was just kind of... That was the transition for me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do that.